In the early evening of the 4th of February 1929, a sharp scream broke the calm of the tiny bungalow community at Limeslade Bay in South Wales. This scream belonged to Kate Jackson, a woman with a secretive past and a link to a sensational embezzlement trial in London 2 years earlier. Despite prompt medical attention, she succumbed to her injuries on the 10th of February. Her husband, Thomas Jackson, was tried for her murder but was acquitted for lack of evidence. More than 9 decades later, no one has ever been convicted in what is still known as the Limeslade mystery. Kate Jackson was born around 1885 under the name Kate Atkinson in Lancashire, England. She later claimed to be an Indian-born aristocrat and even told neighbors that she was a famous novelist writing under a pen name. In her early 20s, she adopted the name Molly Legreese and lived with a man named Leopold Legreese in London. During the First World War, she began a relationship with George Harrison, a clerk at a London office. Kate convinced Harrison that she was pregnant, and he paid her a large sum for an abortion. Afterwards, he continued to give her weekly payments, eventually embezzling funds to sustain this arrangement. When he was caught, it became a headline embezzlement case, and Kate appeared in court under the mysterious title Madam X. By 1927, the couple had moved to a row of small, remote cliff-top bungalows overlooking Limeslade Bay. Kate enjoyed an extravagant lifestyle that far exceeded her husband's income as a fishmonger, suggesting hidden sources of money. On the evening of the 4th of February 1929 at 10 o'clock, Kate and her friend Olive Dimmick returned from the local cinema. Olive said goodnight and climbed the wooden steps of her own bungalow just as Kate reached her back door. Moments later, Olive heard a terrible scream coming from Kate's garden. Running around the side of Kate's bungalow, she found her friend bleeding heavily from the head, with Thomas Jackson standing over her in his underwear. Olive, joined by her husband and neighbor Rose Gammon, helped carry Kate into the kitchen. Thomas fetched clothes for himself but seemed strangely calm, merely remarking that Kate had received threatening letters about the embezzlement trial 2 years before. Mrs. Jackson was taken to Swansea General Hospital by taxi, accompanied by Thomas Jackson. Neil Seddon Taylor, who had been summoned, followed in his own car. At the hospital, doctors found at least 9 separate wounds on her skull and a fractured skull. An X-ray confirmed the severe trauma. During her initial lucid moments, Kate whispered the single word "gorse" several times, a clue that was never explained. During her initial lucid moments, Kate whispered the single word "gorse" several times, a clue that was never explained. The police were notified just before dawn on the 5th of February, and officers interviewed Thomas Jackson at the bungalow just after 5 in the morning. He reported hearing a noise around 10:45, but claimed not to see anyone else. Within hours, the press descended on the quiet bay once they learned that the victim was the mysterious Madam X. Reporters from London and Manchester turned the bungalow lane into a media circus. Superintendent Harry Fox of Mumbles Police led the local investigation, assisted by Detective Inspector Frederick William Goff from Swansea. They collected broken glass and a tire lever hidden in the kitchen, but could find no direct evidence linking Thomas Jackson to the crime. Neighbors reported seeing a dark car parked opposite Kate's house that night, and Kate had previously confessed a fear of strange vehicles. But despite these leads, the police could not identify any suspect beyond the husband. On the 17th of July, 1929, Thomas Jackson faced trial at the Swansea Assizes for the murder of his wife. The prosecution argued that he had the opportunity and the mysterious motive of hidden jealousy. The defense highlighted the complete absence of a plausible motive. Thomas would gain nothing from Kate's death, and the lack of any eyewitness placing him at the back door. Medical testimony confirmed no evidence of third-party involvement in the bruises and cuts. After deliberating for less than a day, the jury returned a verdict of not guilty. The judge instructed them that there was no direct proof of guilt, and the media reported a consensus that reasonable doubt prevailed. One of the most enduring puzzles is Kate's whisper of the word gores. Some historians speculate she meant gris, pointing to her ex-partner Leopold Le Gris, a London artist who lived until 1971. Others believe gores was literal, a plant with sharp edges, possibly used as a weapon or marker. But no gores branches were ever found in the bungalow. The true meaning remains as remote as the rocky cove of Limeslade Bay. In the decades since 1929, the Limeslade mystery has inspired books, documentaries, and podcasts. Mark John McGuire's book, The Murder of Madam X, and his YouTube docudrama revived public interest in the case nearly a century later. Local tours in the Mumbles include a walk past the old bungalow sites, and the Gower Peninsula's visitor guides still mention the unsolved case at Limeslade Bay. To this day, no one else has been charged, and the true killer, if there was one, remains free.